On an all-new David Pollack Show featuring Puppet Carlson, we are talking about terror on the New York subway from another illegal alien. We're talking about a House ethics report, again, seemingly targeting somebody who wasn't very nice to establishment Republicans. And Biden decides to use his clemency powers again, this time to let murderers off the hook. All of this and so much more is coming up right now on the David Pollack Show.
Americans are feeling the squeeze, struggling with the cost of everything from gas.
How do you feel about the economy?
Raising interest rates.
Iran's most intense strike ever against Israel.
Get up, Puppet.
What, Dave? What?
We got work to do.
Puppet Carlson reporting for duty. I'm driving, Dave.
You're not driving.
I am driving, Dave. I'm in the Cybertruck.
Come.
I'm going to regret this.
All right, I don't know about this. Are you sure you want to try to drive?
Dave, Elon made this sucker to drive itself.
All right.
Let's boogie. I got this, man.
Can you even reach the pedals?
Sit down and cool it.
Puppet, pick a lane.
Chill out, Dave. I'm a non-binary driver.
Let's get to work.
Wait up, Dave. I'm the star of this show.
Whoa! Welcome, Puppet, to another exciting David Pollack Show, of course, featuring my patriotic plush pal, Puppet. How you doing in there tonight, Puppet?
I'm doing good, Dave. Good to see you. Good to see you.
You know,
I'm glad you're home from the big event.
That's right. I'd like to say I'm freshly back from AmFest, but I don't feel very fresh at all. I think I slept maybe like 9 hours in 3 days. The problem is
Massengill, you need that?
What's that?
You need some Massengill? You're not feeling so fresh?
No. What it is it's so much excitement. It's so much fun. There's so much energy. And it's like I can't describe if anybody watching hasn't been to a Turning Point America Fest or a Turning Point event or a CPAC type event, you really don't know the energy that you're missing, because, you know, all of us have to kind of sneak around and pretend, you know, we're conservative, but we have not pretend we're conservative, but pretend we're not conservative around our cranky liberal neighbors. And you just have to kind of, unfortunately, the way the world is, if you say you're conservative, you lose your job. You say you like Trump and people attack you on airplanes or in streets or in stores, you get milkshakes thrown at you, whatever. You have to be careful being conservative, giving a Republican. And, you know, all you hear on the news is garbage about Republicans and make you not feel so good. And it's just, you really have to wear armor. Some people say the armor of God to be conservative. And you really do. But when you go to somewhere like AmFest.
And you're from Florida, so you got a double whammy. You're a conservative from Florida, Dave.
Right. I am like.
You're Florida, man.
I'm from the Nazi capital.
Yeah, and you're just, we're dumb.
Right.
Dumb criminals over
Exactly. And when you go to a place like AmFest, you're surrounded by like-minded conservatives. And it's not an echo chamber, but a think tank. And you get to have conversations, you get to agree, disagree, but you get invigorated by knowing how many people think just like you. And you don't have to hide. It's crazy. And I feel so energized when I'm there, and I love meeting people. And you start to meet some of the people that you see on TV, people you talk to on social media, and you get to meet them in person and really build relationships. I cannot tell you how much I loved AmFest and how much fun I had. I just didn't sleep. I traded off sleep for experience. Puppet, I would have brought you, but they're very restrictive these days on how much I can fit in my luggage. And so I just didn't have room to stuff you in the trunk this time, Puppet. I'm sorry.
I know, Dave. That's okay. I don't like going in there and you know, ending up with your underwear on my head, and the stuff in the suitcase.
True. The CPAC incident, I still apologize for.
Yeah, that was bad, Dave.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. And so tonight I want to talk about a bunch, because of course over the weekend a lot of stuff happened, right? A woman was burned to death. Apologies for the graphic nature of that description, even in and of itself. I'm not showing you any videos tonight, by the way. You can find them on the internet. But a woman was burned to death by a Guatemalan illegal alien. We're going to talk about that. Governor Hochul was celebrating the fact that they were able to find who was responsible because of their new cameras. So we'll talk about that. Of course, the House Ethics Report right before Christmas gave Matt Gaetz a gift of that report they promised not to release. Well, they released it. And by the way, don't forget, Republicans are on that. Republicans run that. They decided to release it. So we'll talk about that. And of course, Biden decides that murderers don't have to suffer the fate of death row because, it's just unkind, because those murderers cared so much about their victims.
Sure.
But over the weekend, one of the amazing patriots that I met, and it was kind of a funny way we met. I don't know how much of that story I'll get into. I was just, I don't want to say I wasn't being kind. I think I was just in a rush and I was distracted by something. And she was telling me this great idea she had for a show. And I'm like, yeah, so what's different about it? And I guess somebody gave me a lot of crap about it. And I felt really bad. And I spent my entire night trying to make up for it. And it was just but I ended up making a great friend out of it. And she had some wonderful friends with her. One of them was a Power Ranger. We'll talk about that when she comes on. But it was a really fun time. And I made a really good friend at AmFest. And we started talking about what Trump's America is going to look like. She started telling me about her experience. She's a frequent guest on Fox News. She ran for state house in Ohio, raised almost $1 million by herself. She is an amazing woman, and I'm really excited to have her on the show to talk about what America is going to look like in Trump administration 2.0. And funny enough, Puppet, she was actually going to join us right before the election. But there was some scheduling issues that came up. But and I remember after I was done, like making friends with everybody, I'm like, wait a second, I think I know you. And then we had this big aha moment that we knew each other. So it was kind of really cool, great experience. But it is my great honor to finally welcome Mehek Cook to the David Pollack Show. Welcome, Mehek.
Hi, David. It's so good to see you and Puppet.
Hi, Mehek. David, you
see
always
you.
get the best guests, David.
I really do. I really do. That's because I go out of my way to meet as many people as possible. And then I meet cool people and I'm like, oh, you got to come on the show. And then they meet you and I never get them on again. So that's the issue. But Mehek, I'm very excited to have you on because as you probably heard backstage, we had a great conversation about so many different things. The people who are sitting with us so much. Before we get into, I want to talk about Ohio because you told me some really interesting things about Ohio and the talent that's coming from there. Because I'm from Florida, as I say, because that's what the New Yorkers. We're in a snowbird state. The people from Ohio come here when it gets cold. We don't get cold. So when the New Yorkers come here, they come down to Florida. And that's how they say it. And I'm like, I know they're not from here because they're like, yeah, I'm going to Florida. So anytime you hear me say Florida, I pronounce it the New York way, just to have a little fun with my snowbird friends here. That being said, Florida is like the bench for the entire Trump administration. Right?
It is, yeah. You're right.
How many seats do we need to fill in Florida? But Ohio is becoming, I guess, our runner-up honeypot because we had J.D. Vance from Ohio. We have a lot of great conservatives in Ohio. Vivek is from Ohio. I think Jared Marjewski's from Ohio, too.
Yes.
There's a lot of great patriots in Ohio, and it's a very important state. And so I do want to talk about the politics of Ohio, but I want to get your take on AmFest real quick because it was a ton of fun, wasn't it? I mean, I saw you were doing a bunch of media, and we had a lot of fun just talking, and you heard me describe it as like, almost like a giant think tank. I want to get your thoughts on Turning Point, and then we'll talk about Ohio.
Well, I loved it. So this was my first AmFest, and I have to say, David, there are so many incredible people. Number one rule of thumb, I think you'd agree, never judge a book by its cover. I think people are, I think people are layered. I think they're complex.
Yes.
And I think that everybody's there for a reason. And what was so interesting, and it's something I pointed out to you, we were with Chief Clem, who was a previous Border Patrol agent and then worked his way up to a deputy director in Arizona, is we don't all look alike.
Yeah.
The Conservative Party does not look like I was so used to, and no offense to anybody out there, but conservatives all looked alike. They all dressed alike. They all said the same things. We all had diversity of thought. We all had a way of how we want to put America first. And the number one thing I saw was unity in the mission of not only President Trump, but ensuring that his legacy maintains the next 4 years, 8 years, and 12 years. And that was epic, from
Yeah.
youth all the way to older people in our crowds. It was so incredible. There's no age limit in how to dream, succeed in this country. And I saw that at AmFest.
Yeah, it really was such an interesting sort of melting pot of people. And I think, I don't know if we spoke about this, but I know I spoke about it with somebody. But just even in our little group that we're talking with Chief Clem, and by the way, that guy's awesome. He's coming on the show soon. But we're sitting around. I mean, if you just look around, I'm Jewish. You're of Indian descent. Our friend Jessica is Filipino. We had so many.
I'm Mannequin American.
He's Mannequin American. But we're like, and you're sitting in a room that's as diverse as any place that the Democrats wish they could have and call it Democrat. It wasn't a room of white liberals talking about all the great things they want to do for the minority people that they don't associate with, but everybody else should. It was actually a diverse cross-section of America. And every Republican event I've ever been to, I should say conservative event, I don't say Republican event, every conservative MAGA event, the New York City rally, by the Madison Square Garden, perfect example of that the left called a Nazi rally. Diverse as any event I've ever been to. CPAC, Turning Point. This is the real America. It's the America that the left has hid from regular folks for the longest time, choosing to instead portray a country that when you're a conservative, you're somehow racist, you're male, all the negative things they say about anybody who votes for Trump. And the sad thing is, even as a conservative, if somebody says Trump supporter, I can fill in my mind the way a Trump supporter has been sort of illustrated to them, right? And that's what I love about this event, and you articulated it perfectly, much better than I could, by the way. Which is why you're on Fox News and I'm with a puppet. But you're exactly right. It does kind of, I don't know, it is a special thing. And when you walk away from it, you really do feel energized to go out there and change the world. Charlie Kirk does an amazing job. The lights, the energy, such a cool experience. Now I want to talk to you about.
And David, think about this. It was just a couple days before Christmas too. Think about the millions, or hundreds of thousands. I don't know. It felt like millions of people there, but thousands of individuals that came and said, it's a couple days before Christmas, but I'm going to show up. And then we made friends and we continued to expand our networks and thought, how can we come back? How can we talk about the truth? How can we continue to spread knowledge? And how can we be part of the movement? But this is several days before Christmas. This tells you, while Kamala Harris went to Hawaii after losing this election to take a break, we came together to say, what are we going to do to forge ahead? This is a new America, and we're about working harder than ever before because we have to build, and grow.
Yeah, absolutely. You're exactly right. Even a couple of days before Christmas. I want to talk about Ohio because I brag about Florida because that's where all the cool people are. The second place where the second most cool people are is Ohio, including yourself. You're from Ohio, and you're an attorney there. You did an amazing job as running for state rep. You raised a ton of money. I know you impressed a lot of people, and you still continue to blaze a trail. The interesting thing about Ohio is there's a vacant Senate seat there. And in Florida, we have one as well, because, of course, that's where our president's from. That's where our new Secretary of State is from. That's where about half of the cabinet seems to be from. So we got lots of vacant seats to fill, including Matt Gaetz, and we're going to talk about his ethics report, which I think is a total sham later. But in Ohio, J.D. Vance's seat has to be filled. And I heard from a bird, because birds talk to me, apparently, and I'm going to be committed somewhere. They're going to say, see, he's crazy, lock him up. So maybe I didn't hear from a bird. Maybe I heard from a undisclosed, reputable source, because that's about all you need in the media these days, right? That's the standard. An undisclosed source that I will not name says that you might be considered for that seat. Can you talk a little about that?
So you're right. We have a massive opportunity in Ohio. And I think all eyes were on Ohio when J.D. Vance ran and secured the Senate seat. All eyes were back on Ohio when he was selected as the vice presidential nominee. And then we've continued to show laser focus there. And particularly because his seat is open. Yes, my name is in consideration. Governor DeWine is going to make that decision at the end of the day. But this is what's so incredible about being in the state. As I sit here today, I can't think of a single negative thing to say about the individuals that are being considered. Think about our Lieutenant Governor, John Husted. He's been in politics for a while now, but his heart's in it. From day one, he has continued to work hard across the state of Ohio to make sure that we have the biggest and best companies and economic development and workforce development. Think about Intel. I mean, guys, I want Ohio on the map, not just for the Senate seat, but I'm looking at the world. We can be the largest chip manufacturer in the world competing with China. That's what Ohio has. You have Jane Timken. I know, David, we talked about her a ton at at AmFest. She was the first female chairman in the state of Ohio, and she was installed there by President Trump, and she secured a victory of all 88 counties when he ran for office the first time. So there's a wealth of talent. It's an honor to be considered. I think for me in particular, it's all about what I can do to continue to add in Ohio. I was born in India, but always say made in Ohio, made in the United States. I'm passionate about legal immigration. Came here with $30 in my dad's pocket. And I think everybody should build, grow, and work together, but we have to do that legally. I'm worried about safety and security. Ohio is now a border state, just like New York, clearly, just like Florida and so many other states. So we have a lot of issues, and we've been dealing with a lot of despair. And partly that's Sherrod Brown's fault. I know you and I've talked about this as well. 50-year politician who is finally leaving office, but he's going to come back. So we need to make sure that we have, as the governor has said, a workhorse who's going to work tirelessly, not just the next 2 years through this appointment, but for the next 4, 6, 8, 10 years, because we need longevity in this seat.
Yeah, I mean, and Ohio is such an important state as far as the path to the White House. I mean, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, you hear all these states, Florida. It used to be, actually. Florida, I don't think is a swing state anymore. We're so solid red, it's ridiculous. I think we have a 1 million vote majority, Republican majority in the state now under Ron DeSantis. So Florida's doing much better. We're very red. Ohio seems to not really be in play either anymore, though, right? Tell me how Ohio seems pretty good, right?
Ohio is very red, and part of it is because when you continue to lie, it's not only just lie to Ohioans, you lie to the American people. We are sick and tired of it. We want to be defended. We want somebody who's going to fight for us. If you're going to take taxpayer money, show us results. It's about accountability, but we are red. I think there's certain counties, like the county I live in 2020, that went all blue, and it's unfortunate. The policies are backfiring.
Yeah. And I think we saw that in this election more than anything else. You had areas that traditionally, and what I really am encouraged to see, and we talked about this last week with Santiago Vila. He's the mayor of DeLand out here in Florida, which was a predominantly Hispanic community, never voted red. They flipped red, and he went and flipped the entire council from Democrat to Republican. And then Miami-Dade, for example, flipped. But you have all of these places now that are becoming more and more Trump Republican because of the Democrats, I believe, disastrous policies. The way they try to pit Americans against each other, I think, has made Americans more united. I think people being told that they're racist, that they're Nazis, that all of these things that are not true, because they talk to their neighbors. They see the diversity in their communities, and they say what they're telling us isn't true. And I think Ohio is a great example of that. Wonderful people coming out of Ohio. Vivek Ramaswamy from Ohio,
yeah.
An Indian man who started a business that's worth millions of dollars. I mean, he is the true American success story, just like yourself. These are Ohio people, right? I mean, how encouraging is that for our party? We have RFK Jr. coming in. I mean, he's independent still, but Tulsi's now Republican. And I'll say one last thing, and I'll throw it back to you, because we have this big, it seems like an internal debate where we're calling everybody rhinos, right? Oh, Mitch McConnell's a rhino. You have Dan Crenshaw's a rhino. But I think what we're seeing is, what we're calling rhinos is really the establishment. And I correct people all the time. Yeah. I say, no, they're not rhinos, because Republican in name only, for the people who don't know what rhino is. We don't mean rhinoceros with the horn. We mean Republican in name only. Because these people pretend they're Republican, but they do everything they can to sabotage Republicans. John McCain with his stupid thumbs down. They blessed us with Obamacare for all of eternity, it seems. You have Dan Crenshaw wants to send more of our money to Ukraine than to North Carolina. You have John McCain who wants to, just like John McCain. Lindsey Graham who he hasn't found a war he hasn't liked. When people say rhino, what we're talking about is these establishment Republicans that have never really supported Donald Trump's policies. What we have now are people that are constitutionalists, that are America first. And I think that's where our party's going, and that's where the diversity is, right?
I agree with you. And I think we have to be better in the Republican Party of working with individuals that don't agree with us.
Right.
And it can't be in public and it can't be on national TV. And I understand you want to be a flamethrower and you want to get a bunch of followers. That's not how we're going to win hearts and minds. And that's not what Democrats do. Let me tell you why they succeed. They don't tear each other down. And classic and most important example in our lifetime, Joe Biden.
Yeah.
They never threw him under the bus. They never invoked the 25th Amendment. The man has dementia. He has declined on national television. He has the nuclear codes for our country.
Yeah.
And there's not one Democrat that has said the 25th Amendment. But let me tell you, if there was a Republican, they would be throwing him under the bus. We have to do a better job of uniting our party. And that starts with the president, and it starts with people in the grassroots. If the president has a mandate, which he clearly does in terms of getting the nominations across, then it's my job and every other constituent to push on their legislators, to push on their Congress and senators and say, we want, let's say, Pete Hegseth or Kash Patel, whoever that individual is. We have to do a better job of this. I don't like dirty laundry in public. I think it's disgusting. I think we need to go behind closed doors and we need to work. We have a bad habit of thinking, I'll make a lot of money by saying this or saying that. It doesn't work. I think we have to truly get people on our side by discussion, by conversation, and by putting force on grassroots efforts. That's how Democrats have succeeded. And that is the best way, not only, again, for the next 4 years, but 8 years, 12 years, and so forth. We have an opportunity in this Republican Party to work together, and we need to seize it. Look at what President Trump did. I just have to take a step back. So many people ran against him. He opened his arms to Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, now Tulsi Gabbard, who didn't run against him, but she's part of the party now. She's a Democrat. RFK Jr. I mean, lead by example, and then Americans need to follow suit. We could learn a thing or two from Trump.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everybody just got a taste of exactly the type of senator you would be and how awesome it would be to have you in JD Vance's seat. Look, you got my support here in Florida. So Governor DeWine, if you're listening, I think she's going to be awesome. She would be great. America would love her. This is a success story. This is the American dream. Put her in the Senate. Put her in the Senate. Put her in the Senate. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick break, and I know you got to go. I know you're busy. I know you're away. We're going to do our panel, and you're going to join us for like 5 minutes on the panel. You're going to meet some of the ladies. We're going to have some fun, talk about a couple of quick issues. Before I go to break, though, I want to ask you, how can people, if they want to learn more about you, like, oh, my God, you're awesome, how can they find more about you?
So I'm on X at MEHEKCOOKE, or Facebook, Instagram. Most of my social media is about important issues. And I was President Trump's legal and political surrogate, and I'm out there talking about issues that matter most to Americans and exposing the truth. So easiest way is social platforms.
Fantastic. I encourage everybody to go to whatever platform you're on. Follow Mehek. She's amazing, and she's an awesome person, I can tell you as a fact, and I think she's going to be an amazing senator as well. Guys, don't go anywhere.
I just followed you, Mehek.
Thank you.
We're friends now.
Oh God, I'm sorry, Mac. Yeah, I know you didn't sign up for that. But whatever. Everybody needs a. I guess everybody needs a puppet in their life. All right,
that's it.
We're gonna take a quick break, and we come back. It's panel time, and Mac will be with us just for a couple more minutes. And again, Mac, thank you so much for joining. And don't go anywhere, guys. David Pollack Show. We'll be right back.
I'm Scotty Cahill, and I'm the founding partner at FinSec Life. FinSec Life is an independent agency that works with a multitude of carriers that brings the best pricing to each client we serve. With our 40 plus years of experience in the industry, allows us to deliver unique results to each individual client. We do not get paid until your policy is placed, until you have your insurance. So we will do the work. We will ensure that everything is taken care of, whether you get the best pricing, whether you get treated fairly by the underwriting team. If you have an existing policy and you want to know whether the policy is performing as it should, or if you have additional needs for insurance, please contact us at 321-800-3901, and we'll be happy to quote you on a new insurance. The phone number again is 321-800-3901, and the website is finseclife.com. Financial security for life.com.
In today's fast-paced world, effective communication is the backbone of successful businesses. Are outdated systems and high costs slowing you down? Switch to Public Telephone Company for cutting-edge voice-over IP solutions. Enjoy seamless connectivity, unparalleled reliability, and significant cost savings. Tailor-made voice-over IP solutions designed for your business needs. Join countless businesses in transforming your communication with Public Telephone Company. Public Telephone Company. Revolutionize the way you connect.
I'm excited to announce our Christmas extravaganza is finally here. Get this season's flannel sheets for as low as $59.98. They won't last long, so get them while you can. Our famous My Slippers, they haven't been on sale for over a year. Regularly $119.98, now only $59.98. Our 6-piece towel sets are back in stock with extremely limited quantities, only $29.98. With hundreds of MyPillow products, there's something for everyone on your Christmas list. Bathrobes, duvets, quilts, down comforters, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save on all MyPillow products. For example, flannel sheets for as low as $59.98, or our 6-piece towel sets, just $29.98. But that's not all. I'm extending our 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st of 2025. Plus, all orders over $75 or more ship absolutely free.
I am so sick of this woke crap.
Let's watch TV for normal people.
A super influencer is someone that takes the cause that they fight for, whether it's social media, networking, partnerships, and just dominates that movement with it. Let's get into today's episode.
We got to build a chicken coop today.
We have 4 beautiful children that we adopted.
Anytime you're out there with your kids, it's teaching them to be a productive member of society. Let's herd them like cattle, boys and girls. Come on. We take race out of it. We parent based off principles.
We're going to take everyone's phone so they can sit and actually talk to each other. This is a kitchen fight for sure.
My name's Tito Ortiz.
Get some!
Everybody knows me from the fighting world.
Real.
But I'm also an avid fisherman.
Tito Ortiz got his sea monster. Hello!
Hey guys, it's Conservative Ant.
I'm Kendall in Kentucky.
I'm Blake Reynolds.
I'm the Patriot Barbie.
I'm Amber Nicole Ortiz.
Check out the first and only non-woke entertainment.
Only on We the Studios.
You have daughters cheerleading, then you have parents chopping off their breasts.
There's so much to do to save America.
And we are back. Before we go and bring in the panel, because that's panel music, you hear, Mehek, that's our panel music to get the mood set up. But
I love it.
You saw the trailer. Mehek got to meet a lot of the We the Studios folks this weekend. You got to hang out with Ant and Blake, and Carrie and Curtis were there. Patriot Barbie. A lot of people were there. And we're having a great old time. If you guys if you're not subscribed to We the Studios, you need to go and do that. Go online right now. Download the app on the Google Play Store or on the Apple Store, and or you can go to wethestudios.com and use promo code Pollack or Puppet and save some money on a subscription. Again, we're powered by We the Studios, and it's a great platform. And Mehek can tell you, all great people, you'd want to hang out with them, just like she got you, right?
Absolutely. Most down-to-earth, funny people that truly care about this country. I absolutely loved every minute.
There you go. You should go and download the app today. Now, Mehek, the music you're hearing means it's panel time. And so panel time, we are going to bring in our regular guests backstage. Now, they are, I always call them in order so nobody gets upset. This is the order in which they showed up. So tonight, our first panelist up is Miss Heather Heather, Liberty Valkyrie herself. She is doing a lot of really good stuff. I'll give you a quick summary. She is a super influencer on social media, but she does a lot of work for veterans. She does a ton of work on the ground. She's a grassroots mega maniac. Did a lot of work in Georgia and Florida to help Trump get elected with Veterans for Trump. And she's soon to be doing some really cool stuff that I won't talk about yet, but she has a big heart, and we're happy to have her on the panel. Now, we will bring in Miss Ali Leger, Director of Civic Engagement for Moms for America, and host of, I'm not going to screw it up, Open Mic.
Very good, David. I'm proud of you.
Open Mic and Mom View and Home Front and all this other stuff. I'm not going to get in trouble again this week. Ali, welcome to the show. Well, Mehek is here. She's only got a couple of minutes because she was hanging out with us me way too long, and she doesn't want to hang out with me anymore. And she's smart for leaving as soon as possible.
So not true. I actually stuck around to meet you ladies.
Thank you. Well, thank you. I feel honored. I appreciate it.
So before we get,
I have FOMO. You guys were out all hanging out together, and like me and Heather were not there.
I know. I'm bummed.
You should have FOMO. It was spectacular.
Yeah,
it was. Other than WalkaCon, because I don't know, Mehek, if you ever heard of a WalkaCon, but Brandon Strzok's organization, Walkaway, had this awesome political event, I think 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and it was just like the biggest party. We had a ton of fun. You met some really cool people because WalkaCon, it wasn't just Republicans or Democrats. It was the Walkaway movement, people who left the Democrat Party. So it was really cool. I heard some really great speakers there. So we had a great time. But AmpFest was incredible. Ali, Heather, you guys have to come next year. We had a ton of fun. There was great speakers, great times, and I met a ton of friends, made a ton of connections. It was worth every second. And I probably had fun because Puppa wasn't there.
You know you have more fun when I'm there.
Oh, Puppet.
I mean, yeah. So anyway, here's what I'm going to do, because I know Mehek has to leave. So Mehek, I'm going to give you the choice. Okay, I'm going to tell you all the topics we're talking about tonight. I won't pull up the videos yet because you won't have time unless you pick a topic that has no video. So I'm going to tell you what we're going to talk about. You can pick the topic and you can have the last word on it, okay? Before everybody else.
It's going to be the illegal immigrant on that subway.
All right,
if you're talking about it, we got to go there immediately.
All right, we're going with illegal immigrant on the subway. I'm going to show the picture. This is, I don't even know his name and I don't even care. He is an illegal immigrant from Guatemala. He was drunk on a subway, decided it would be funny to throw or to light on fire a sleeping woman. And as she burned, he fanned the flames as panicked passengers fled the subway. Even a police officer at one point seemed to walk by not knowing what to do. This happened on the New York City subway. Quick factoids for you. This is important, and then going right to you, Mehek. But you're very professional, so you'll appreciate the background facts, right? This is Fox Newsy, right? In 2024, the New York City subway system experienced a notable rise in violence. I don't know if you guys knew this. 10 murders on the train in 2024. 10 murders on the subway.
Yep.
Hong Kong, right? A city with 13 million people had 17 murders in the entire year in the entire city. New York has had 10 murders on the subway. And that matches a 25-year high from 2022. And of course, this is even crazier. 51 incidents of felony assaults in just the past 28 days compared to the same time frame next year. Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
51 violent felonies in the last 28 days on the subway alone. Despite all of that, Governor Hochul claimed that thanks to the new surveillance they've set up, they were able to catch him. So New Yorkers, don't worry. It's totally safe when you have security. If New York thought that maybe preventing the crime would be a better investment than finding the people who committed the crime, I mean, I know that's a really, kind of avant-garde way to think, right? Why stop the crime when you could just watch it on TV? But Mehek, I'm going to throw it over to you. What's your thoughts on illegal aliens burning Americans on trains?
I mean, it's illegal, right? They shouldn't be here in the first place. But
Right.
you have to ask yourself again, you have the governor in New York coming out and stating that we are safer now because of our security officers. This is exactly why Democrats lost. They are so tone deaf that they don't realize that their policies aren't working and they continue to lie. The only difference today is we have social media patriots that are continuing to say, here's a picture, here's what's happening on our subway, here are the facts. There are people like you and so many others like Heather and Allie and the puppet that are on these platforms saying, this is the truth, this is what's happening, and the puppet. But this is the truth, this is what's happening. And you know how I feel about illegal immigrants. I'm a legal immigrant who came to this country when I was 5 legally. And I think every illegal today should pack up their bags and immediately leave. And my message to sanctuary city, whether it's mayors and governors, is if you want more women raped and killed and burnt, this is what's going to happen. And if they don't comply with Tom Homan and President of the United States, Trump, then you're going to be detained and you're going to be prosecuted because we can't lose more women. The days that go by that Biden's in office are the days that our lives, I mean, we're no longer safe. Guys, I have to tell you, by the way, side note, I was at AmFest with a patriot, Jessica Ray, who is a Power Ranger, and she came out as Republican. And one of the biggest things was security. I mean, she had door alarms, she had hand alarm, she had every alarm that we could have to booby trap our hotel room. And she's doing this as somebody who's not in New York on a subway. And I've realized that I have to be better about safety. Look at this young girl that was just sleeping on a subway. Do you know how many times I've fallen asleep because I'm dead tired after hits at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 5 a.m.? I can't imagine. And by the way, I don't ride the subway because I don't trust Kathy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I commented today on a post on X. You know, the subway was built for people going to work to go underneath the city to avoid congestion because there's a report out that the congestion is increasing on the surface streets because people are afraid to take the subways now. So it's crazy how the subways were built for people to go to work under the ground. Now the subway serves the mentally ill, illegals, and the homeless to travel from crime scene to crime scene, and that's Governor Hochul's New York, Joe Biden's America. It's disgusting. I'm going to talk more because I know you have to go. I want to talk more about this immigration piece, and I'll do that after you have to. I wish you could stay. You're welcome, but I understand you have to go. We're going to have you back, Mehek.
Thank you.
And we'll do it when you're not following like a 4-day convention of craziness, and we're going to have you back on. The ladies would love for you to join, and we'll talk about this. All kinds of stuff, I'm sure, into the future because we're just getting started in saving America. Mehek, thank you so much for being here. Good luck. I'm going to call Governor DeWine. I'm going to find his number somewhere, and I'm going to say, look, I know you got a lot of great people in Ohio, but I think this is our future senator, and I think you do an amazing job there. So good luck to you. Keep us posted, and thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks so much for having me, and Merry Christmas, guys. The best is yet to come.
That's
I believe that.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All right. See you soon.
All right. Good night. All right, guys. I'm going to put up a video now because actually, I'm going to tell you what. I got to think now. I have a video of Trump at AmFest talking about this, and I wanted you to hear his. Let's talk about the subway first and violent crime, and then we'll talk about immigration. So I'll throw it over to you, Heather. I mean, look, it was a disgusting, horrific thing. I don't know if we need to say more. I mean, Daniel Penny literally just got acquitted for protecting people from lunatics like this. Then they charged him with murder. An illegal alien burns an American. What say you?
Well, how are Americans to feel comfortable being a good Samaritan and doing something in that situation when they just saw what Daniel Penny went through? Because here's the deal with Daniel Penny. What we saw was what the media clips allowed us to see, right? He's been dealing with this. The judicial system is not a fast system. He's been having to deal with hecklers. He's been having to deal with his own safety from people up until the trial. And that doesn't end now that the trial's over, even though he hasn't been found guilty of it. He is still in fear.
Right.
So this whole case, you have to think, if it didn't happen, would somebody have stepped in? But furthermore, another thing that I wanted to point out real quick is the fact that there was 2 other incidents that happened on New York subways yesterday that were overshadowed. There was somebody that was pushed in broke their back, and they are now fighting for their life. And there was a stabbing on the subway yesterday as well. So the thing is like there were 3 major incidents yesterday on the New York subway system. And on that same day, Kathy Hochul decides to come out and say it's safer than ever.
Yeah.
But the one incident was so horrific, we didn't even hear about the other 2.
Yeah.
Such a shame.
Yeah, Allie, go ahead.
Oh, well, I agree with you 100, like I always do, Heather, because, we share brains.
Women have to stick together.
No, but you know what? No,
Are
not
you
at
guys
all.
sinking? Are you guys sinking? Is that what's happening? Are you
Yes.
sinking?
You absolutely not. Maybe. I don't know. We don't have enough time together. No, but what I was going to say is that, what's worse than weak men are complacent women.
Yeah.
And women that show no leadership. She's walking around acting as if she's just a regular citizen who doesn't have bodyguards, who doesn't have an entourage with her, posing for fake photos at a subway. It's like it's an op. It's not factual. She doesn't actually take the train. This is ridiculous for her to come out and say, "Oh, look, it's safe here." It's such a smack in the face for everyday New Yorkers who are dealing with these kinds of things on their way to work, on their way home, these children that have to go to school that take the subway. Like, this is not safe for anybody. And the fact that I don't even know what to call Gotham now. Do I call New York City Gotham or do I call DC Gotham? Because they almost are like the same thing. It is
No, they're worse than Gotham
Yeah.
because at least Gotham had the bat signal to throw out.
Yeah, well,
New
we're
York's got
kind of
nothing.
struggling with a Batman. Like, who the hell is Batman?
They don't want to be Batman because they'll get Daniel.
Yeah, but what Trump
You're
can
gonna put
only
up
do
like
so much.
a hair signal out.
That's
No,
it.
no. Local action equals national impact. Trump cannot be in every city. Trump is not in every single district. It's impossible for him to be able to do that. This is why getting locally involved is so important. When we have incidents like this happen, and then you have a Danielle Penny who is like, absolutely not. Nobody on this train is getting hurt over my dead body. Is this
Right.
going to happen? Because he has core morals and values and stands on principle to protect women and children. We need more strong men that are willing to do that. Who cares whatever comes after them, right?
No.
But we don't have that. But we need more people locally to do that. We can't just have one person at the top that's like inspire. You know what I'm saying? He can inspire that, but if we don't have people every day out in the street acting out what they believe, their true values on the inside to protect women and children, this will continue to perpetuate. And if we continue to vote for people that are completely tone deaf to things like this and act like nothing ever happened, this will continue as well.
It's not even just tone deaf. It's a media charade. It's a facade that continues.
It's purposeful.
Yeah, that continues to be perpetrated on the American people by leftist politicians all the way up to the top, all the way up to Joe Biden and his handlers. Them telling us that Joe Biden's perfectly fine. This is the same charade.
I could go as far as saying she's racist because the lady's black.
On the train, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But remember, if an illegal alien kills a black person,
American, it doesn't matter.
then black. Yeah. If you're American, remember, the left has a hierarchy, right?
Yeah, they do.
Right. If you're Republican, your race doesn't matter somehow.
Yeah.
Even though that's
everybody's white when you're
right. That's the future somehow they wanted, but only if you're Democrat. So when you're a Democrat, race matters completely in almost everything, except they tell you that it's your fault that race matters. If you're a Republican that's any race other than white, it doesn't matter. You're still treated as a white person. You're just the whatever shade of face you happen to be of white supremacy. Yeah. So that's how that works. And Black lives only matter if
when it's a criminal.
If white cops are responsible for their death. Because if black people kill black people, black lives don't seem to matter. If Democrats kill black people, that doesn't seem to matter. And if illegal aliens kill black people, they have immunity. Like they have Hunter Biden style immunity. And I'm surprised. It wouldn't surprise me if, and we're going to talk about this later in Joe Biden's clemency spree, if he doesn't give a pardon all the illegal aliens for all the crimes they've committed before he leaves. Trust me, it's coming. It's coming. He's gonna grant them all citizenship by executive order or something crazy. Trust me. This is the stuff he does, and we'll talk about the clemency later. It's terrible. It's horrible. Americans are sick of dying at the hands of illegals. And yes, while as a percentage of crime, the internet will be quick to point out that illegal aliens are only responsible for a smaller percentage of crime than Americans. But guess what? We don't need to import criminals. We have enough of our own anyway, right? If we're going to import people, let's try having a pathway to citizenship for the hardworking people who come to this country and wait 3 years to get citizenship. Some of them have to leave and come back and wait. And the ones who actually have jobs and families here versus the people who come here illegally on drugs, mentally ill, gang members like in Colorado. It has to stop. Now, it will. And here's a video of Trump at AmFest. Here's what. Now I got to pull this over because I'm getting blind here. Here it. Wait a minute. Do I not have it? I don't have it. I'm gonna have to pull it up later, guys. I am sorry. I don't have the clip. I know. I had a clip of Trump at AmFest. I just have to find it here in a minute.
Here's the thing, Dave.
Yeah.
This situation is like a lot of situations that we see over and over and over again.
Right.
We have a crime problem. It's obvious. Everyone in the MAGA movement knows we have a crime problem. And the regular American people know we have a crime problem. But the Democrats have not admitted that we have a crime problem, just like they didn't admit for 2 years that we had an open border.
Some still don't admit it.
And some still don't admit it.
Right.
Just like they haven't admitted that the fact that the China created the COVID virus. Like, we cannot solve problems or fix things. The first step is always admit you have a problem.
You have a problem.
Admit you have a problem. These people lie so bald-facedly and they do it right into the camera, right into our faces, even though we know point blank crime is worse in New York City right now than it has been, and illegal aliens have something to do with it. Not everything to do with it, as we were just saying, but it's bad with them, and without them, it's worse. You got to admit that we have a problem so we can actually do something about it. If you don't admit it, we can't fix it. They don't want to fix it. They want it to be like this. That's why they lie about it. That's why it's there, because they want it this way. And then what's going to happen? They get arrested. They let him go. Joe Biden pardons him, gives him clemency. This is just nuts. Just freaking nuts. And it happens over and over and over again with the crime thing, with thing after thing after thing. And that's why Trump won, because we're just damn tired of being called crazy when we can see the reality right in front of our faces.
Yeah, and it has to
These
stop.
people lie, period.
It has to stop, and I think it will. I think the thing I'm worried about, though, and by the way, there was that Christmas market attack, too. It's not just in America where illegal aliens are causing problems. I mean, all throughout Europe where they have the open border policies, it has been wreaking havoc. In Germany over the weekend, I don't know if you guys saw, in a Christmas market. By the way, there's also another Christmas market in London or in England that they can't say. They're calling it a holiday market now, and they're telling that the vendors can't say Merry Christmas. This is London. This is the liberalism that we just beat in America, and hopefully, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, I just have to comment about the Christmas market situation.
Yeah.
I was stationed in Germany for 2 years, and I have to tell you, there is nothing more magical that I have ever been to in my entire life than a Christmas, not holiday, because we don't have it on any other holiday. We have it specifically for Christmas.
Right.
So it should be called a Christmas market.
Right.
So shut up, London, right?
Right.
But my point being is the fact that it is gorgeous. The Christmas markets, you feel like you are in a fairy tale storybook of everything that you would think a land of Christmas should be. There's music playing. All the vendors are in like little cabin looking buildings. They're sprawling. They're serving you Glühwein, which is warm red wine with mulled cider. There is nothing more quintessential Christmas than a German Christmas market. And to hear this, I mean, I am at the point that I want to plan a special family trip to Germany right before Christmas so that my family can see what I got to experience. It's amazing. And it is absolutely heartbreaking that people think requiring assimilation to come to your country is racist when the United States government gives their employees, those in the military, cultural briefings before they go to any country for more than 2 weeks. Try to speak the language. Try to assimilate. Why is our country telling our employees, our service members, our representatives that we have to appreciate other countries' cultures, but then when they come here,
They don't have
it's
to.
racist to get irritated that they don't. I don't understand that.
It's to keep everybody divided. That's why. That's why. Because you can't build relationships with foreign nations and expect to have good foreign national policy.
That's exactly right.
You can't build those relationships if the people that you're sending over there that are dressed in your uniform that represent your country are not assimilating and they're causing problems. You can't build those relationships properly. But when they come over here, they're not trying to have them build relationships over here with anybody. You know why? Because they don't even want us building relationships with our representatives. Right? Which is why they're all freaking out that X is like blowing up. And Elon is putting his 2 cents in when it comes to what nomination pick and what bill to pass and what not and all these things. It's because we the people are loud. They don't want more people to be loud to hold them accountable for what they do while they're here. So they want us completely divided because division is control. When you divide the populace, you have more control. That's why. That's the answer.
You're exactly right. And we could talk about the way that went down in the spending bill, but we don't have time for that. I have that video here.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I know. So much
David,
happened
you're
this
going to
weekend.
have to start doing like 2 shows a week to get into topics.
I know. We're gonna have to
Or
wrap it.
extend like another hour.
We could. Okay, so here
Hi,
is
Tim Bob.
and I see Allie drinking out of her. I got my hospital cup, by the way.
Oh my God, I
I
can't.
peed in that.
Hi, Tim.
All right. So, is he back?
Tim Bob is here.
All
He
right.
was bummed he missed almost the whole show. But
Oh, darn.
It's right. It's
Totally
recorded.
Jared. I don't know what Jared is talking about. But
Jared's talking about Republicans storming the Capitol.
like,
Jared
guys.
doesn't
Hold
even
on.
know
And
what
that we
Jared
don't
is
care
Let me
about
talking
show the
about.
comments so you guys know what he's talking about. Republicans
Forego the
I
crime
can't
problem.
read it. Yeah.
Like we don't care about crime when we're storming the Capitol and creating a
First of all, there was no storming the
insurrection.
Capitol.
Are we talking about
there
January?
wasn't.
Jared always has to find a way to talk about January 6th.
Yeah,
Because that's all he's got.
All
it's
right.
Jared 6.
There's no
Silver.
other. That's all they got is January 6th. We
Well-
can come up with dozens of examples of how the left is just criminally violent. Sorry.
Well, here's
And let's
Donald.
not talk. If we're going to talk about January 6th, then you got to talk about FBI
Oh,
informants.
we're
in the
not
crowd.
talking about that.
Then
We
you got to
can't
think
even-
about the
That's going to be hour 3,
Capitol
and we're
Police
only 1 hour show.
using
Hour
force
3.
against the people. You know, Jared, come on.
All right.
All right, next.
Real quick. Here's Trump on the border. Here's his plan. People are freaking out about this, by the way. I think it's spectacular.
I will immediately designate the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. We're going to do it immediately. And we'll unleash the full power of federal law enforcement, ICE, Border Patrol. How good is Tom Homan, right? He's phenomenal. I've known him a long time. I'll bet you Sheriff Joe likes Tom Homan, right? Sheriff Joe, yes? Yep. He goes, yep. The DEA, the FBI, the intelligence community, and financial sanctions to remove the migrant gangs and criminals that are killing and raping and maiming our citizens.
It was so
Out of
great.
control.
The media is losing their minds, by the
Of
way.
course they are.
So
This isn't anything new. He's been saying this the entire campaign trail.
Project 2025. So, interesting fact, in 2024, 650,000 individuals with criminal histories were on ICE's national docket, including over 13,000 convicted of homicide. Do you hear that? More than 500,000, almost 750,000 illegals in our country are on the criminal docket. Criminals are on ICE's docket. 13,000 murderers.
Almost like he was right.
13,000 illegal alien murderers in our country.
It's almost like he was right. They were emptying their prisons.
And
They're
sending them
sending
here.
us their criminals
They're
and they're
sending
sending us
their
their
criminals
rapists.
to America.
That's what they're doing. And
Yep.
they're
They're
here.
entering their jails. They're emptying their sane asylums.
They're eating the dogs. They're
eating the
cats.
dogs. They're eating the dogs.
Well, hopefully we'll get. I'll wrap up the immigration point because we're almost at the end of the show, and I still want to talk about another thing. God, I can't believe it's 9:00 already. I worry though because I worry that these groups will become violent and resist their deportation. You're already seeing it in Colorado, and this is going to become a real problem for local law enforcement.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we have the resources to handle an uprising of millions of illegals as we're trying to remove them. Plus, the Democrats playing their games and painting it like Trump is doing something terrible. And so I'm worried about how that's going to play out. By the way.
I think when Kash Patel takes his position, and he sends the FBI to actually go do their damn job instead of sitting in a building and
Harassing Americans.
spying on Americans
Yeah.
and arresting them for things that they haven't done or aren't doing, or suspected of doing, like Minority Report. It's ridiculous. I think that this will not be a problem. I think if the FBI is allowed to do their job and to assist local law enforcement and not like figure out who's pitched a tent bigger than the other one, then I don't think this is going to be an issue. They just need to put aside their boy problems.
Well, we'll see.
Mine's bigger than yours. Knock it off. Go do your job.
I was about to make a bad segue. I don't have a video, but I don't think I have time to show it. The House ethics report that they said they weren't going to release on Matt Gaetz. Guess what Republicans did? They released it.
Of course they did.
We say this all the time, and I will talk about for 15 seconds. If you were watching the government shutdown debacle last week, where Johnson wanted to make deals with Democrats to spend money and waste more Americans' money instead of passing the clean CR, and then when Trump proposed the clean CR, the Republicans voted against it. This is what Republicans do. And by the way, Republicans now released the House ethics report against Matt Gaetz. And of course, there's some damning stuff allegedly in there. The issue is, first of all, again, this is a hit job by Republicans on Republicans to go after Matt Gaetz. Now, you can read the report, you can believe it, you can choose to not believe it. But the point is, this is Republicans going after Republicans. They do this all the time. They can't stand anything that threatens the establishment, and this is what they do. But I hear through the grapevine that now, since the behavior in the private lives of some of our representatives is fair game, new damning reports and evidence is going to start being released about other members of Congress, because the worst kept secret in Washington, according to our good friend George Santos, is that the things that they're claiming Matt Gaetz is a bad guy for doing, everybody does and worse up there. And guess what? People have the receipts.
I mean,
anybody?
to the tune of $17 million.
Right.
To the tune of $17 million of our tax dollars. Our money has gone to silence sexual assault.
Right. Well, guess what? There's people with receipts. Information's coming out, and we're going to send you for it. Look, it's 9:00 already. What a great show. I could talk for another hour, but you know what? If you guys, next Monday we're pre-recorded because I'm away. Unless Puppet, when you want to, Puppet, you can run the show by yourself next week if you want. I have a pre-recorded interview though. It's really interesting about the labor market, and unemployment numbers.
Sounds great, Dave.
Yeah.
Why don't you just put everybody to sleep?
No, it's gonna be really good.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
It's important. Unemployment's important. Labor market's important.
And you recorded it already?
Yeah.
Without me?
Yeah.
Well, it's a snooze. Sure.
It's going to be a Puppet Alley takeover, yeah?
It's going to be
yeah. If you guys want, you're welcome to host it live next week. We'll talk about that later. You actually, tell you what, in the comments, guys,
Allie, have you ever hosted a show with a puppet before?
Not with a puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, put it in the
First time
comments
for everything.
If you guys want to see Puppet and Allie do the show next week, Heather, hopefully you could be available to join too. If you want to see Puppet Allie, wait, did she leave us?
I think her camera was frozen.
No, she got mad.
She did not get mad.
Yeah, drama.
Stop.
Drama.
Nothing for her.
No,
she's
got
a
mad at
very
me.
strong woman, and it takes a lot to offend us women that are strong-minded.
That's right,
like
Dave.
this, okay.
Just because you got a boring show doesn't mean she gets mad.
Oh gosh. Okay. Before I go, over the weekend, this was insane. At AmFest, I don't even know if I should talk about it. There was a fight. Did you see this?
No, I haven't seen it. I heard about it.
Oh my
I
gosh.
I only heard about it bits and pieces. I don't even know what it was about.
There was this whole thing
It's actually like a
between,
space
I'm not even going to mention their names. There's a whole thing between two people. One's a musician, the other one's an influencer, and some things were said. Some people got upset about it. Violence occurred. But then the violence was they like scheduled a schoolyard fight in Rocks, 7 blocks from the hotel. Then they all go and they engaged in a little quick fight that was refereed. It was like this craziest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, it was fun. Amfest
Sounds like a Democrat convention.
No, you know what though? it was funny. Nobody got hurt. There's a bunch of social media about it. Everybody can go research.
Were they engagement farming? Is that what that was?
No, I think they just got maybe cranky. I don't know. Anyway,
Eat a Snickers.
Yeah. What happened to Heather? I did feel bad. The show's not the same without her waving.
I know.
Bye, Heather.
Hi, Heather. We love
Well,
you,
you're a puppet. Puppet, why don't you pretend you're Heather? Go. No, that was weird. Okay, never mind. I should have asked him. All right, guys. Well, we may or may not be live next Monday, depending on what Allie and Puppet decide to do. If they do a Puppet takeover, David Pollack Show will be live, and I'll release that interview separately. Or you can watch a very interesting interview on the labor market, unemployment, work from home. No, look, here's the deal. There's been a lot of discussion.
It's important.
Yeah.
No.
There's been a lot of discussion about working at home and whether or not federal employees should go to work and all this other stuff. So it was a really interesting discussion. I decided to get a professional's take on everything.
Oh, well, if there's somebody else, then that's okay.
Yeah. So anyhow,
Jim Bob says Allie and Puppet.
Yes. All right. Well, maybe we'll see you next week, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Movie house.
Yep, and maybe or not, we'll see you next week. If not, we'll see you in the new year. I'm leaving you with this song provided by Puppet. It's in like the long form, like you would see on Instagram, so some of it's gonna be cut off. But the music,
the song is not cut off.
That's what Puppet said. Puppet, do you want to set it up, or should I just send us home?
I think it's self-explanatory.
All right. Well, Allie, thank you for joining us as always, guys. Don't forget to go follow Allie. Don't forget to follow Heather, Liberty Valkyrie, wherever she is.
We love you, Heather. Bye.
All right, and don't you always say something, Puppet?
Oh, and remember, the fleece stops here, folks.
The fleece stops right there. Good night, everybody.
Well, the tide is finally turning, and Kamala's speech is slurring. Thank God we're saying bye to Joe. Screw the woke, screw the woke, screw the woke. And the mainstream media's dying. Their viewers shaving their heads and crying. What is a woman? Well, they still don't know. Screw the woke, screw the woke, screw the woke. They tried to stop us by taking his life, but they missed, so it's fight, fight, fight. The left really thought they'd beat the right, and they fought, but they lost, thank the Lord. Now January is coming. Half of Hollywood's already running. They're finding new